DHS says a migrant who was in the country illegally was shot and killed by an ICE agent. The agency tells us the suspect tried to flee the scene before those shots were fired and was not the target of the operation. There were protests again today. People marching over there to an ICE office about 15 miles south of Portland. They're calling for a full investigation here.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. An ICE source tells Fox the pause is temporary while new training is in the works, and that vehicle stops are still possible for targets with violent records or facing serious charges. Police in Florida just reporting that a man running from an encounter with federal agents has been struck and killed by a tractor trailer. Florida Highway Patrol says the man was one of 4 people who got out of a car and ran on foot during an encounter in a gas station parking lot earlier today. President Trump reverses course on a plan to charge fees in a critical waterway both the U.S. and Iran claim to control.
A day after pitching a 20% fee on all cargo sailing through the Strait of Hormuz as compensation, President Trump backed away from the plan.
So I put it out yesterday. I thought it was good. I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs.
Instead, the president says Gulf allies will invest billions of dollars in American plants and factories. At the same time, the U.S. is reimposing a naval blockade on Iranian ports, blocking ships from coming and going following days of airstrikes in response to Iran attacking commercial vessels.
Fox's Jared Halper and the U.S. launching more strikes on Iran today. Spain just advancing to the World Cup final with a 2-0 win over France. America is listening to Fox News.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace.
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
A warning from Arizona officials about a scam involving the Nancy Guthrie case.
The Pima County Sheriff's Department says fake posts about the search for Nancy Guthrie are using QR codes to ask for money. The department stressing it will never ask for funds related to this case or any investigation, urging folks not to send money to people they do not know or scan any QR codes requesting payments. Adding, if you see one of these posts, ignore it and report it. Stay alert and help spread the word.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Multiple agencies, including the FBI, have been investigating Guthrie's disappearance since early February, when the 84-year-old mother of NBC's Savannah Guthrie is believed to have been taken from her home. A U.S. men's national team star at the center of a controversial red card and reversal offers his take on fallout.
United States striker Flo Balogun says the decision to reverse his red card in the FIFA World Cup affected his teammates before their round of 16 match against Belgium. Balogun received the red in the round of 32 game against Bosnia and Herzegovina, disqualifying him from the game against Belgium. But the day before the contest, FIFA reversed the ruling, allowing Balogun to play. Balogun telling CBS Mornings that decision led to a lot of outside noise prior to the match.
I knew it was going to cause a lot of controversy, and I could almost see within my teammates a bit of nerves.
It didn't move the needle in the game as the U.S. fell to Belgium 4-1. Tony Genualdo, Fox News.
President Trump had called the FIFA president to seek a review. The FIFA leader said the reversal was an independent decision not made by either one of them. Against Spain, just advancing to the World Cup final, beating France 2-0. They'll face the winner of tomorrow's semifinal between England and defending champion Argentina. Stocks finish higher after cooler inflation in June. The Dow up just 9 points. The Nasdaq up 233. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
And a very good afternoon, 5:05. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis studios at WMBS. Outside of our studios, 89 clouds and sun, air quality alert for the next 3 hours until 8 this evening. Much more on the Weather Watch and sports in just a bit, and we'll tell you more about that. The Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection is issuing a code orange air quality alert through 8 this evening for the listening area. That's Fayette, Washington, Westmoreland, and Allegheny County. Sensitive people like older adults, young children, and those suffering from respiratory and cardiac diseases should not spend a lot of time outdoors in the next few hours. And throughout the day, you should not have. Residents are also encouraged to avoid any open burning and to limit gasoline equipment usage in order to help reduce
590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS,
will
Uniontown.
vote this week on an agreement with the Sportsman's Club in the region. Nick Barczyk, hey, that's me with more. Fayette County Commissioner Scott Dunn, Vince Vasides, and Harry Kaufman Tuesday agreed to place on Thursday's business meeting agenda a revised range IPA improvement project agreement with the South Connellsville Rod and Gun Club, Fayette County and Connellsville Township. A few months ago, the commissioners voted and accepted the agreement with the club, said it was a revised and changed wording only. This motion this month, Commissioner Dunn said the agreement is for improvements to the club to allow use for those in the county that need firearm certification, while Commissioner Vasides added the project is being funded through federal and state money. The commissioner is adding the federal money comes through the office of U.S. Representative Guy Reschenthaler, and in addition to federal and state funding, Fayette County District Attorney Mike Aubel's office in the county has provided matching funding. Also, the commissioners in the county of Fayette on Thursday will have the official unveiling of Fayette County's 250th quilt as we mark America 250 this month. That's going to happen at the Fayette County Commissioners meeting Thursday at 10 a.m. in the former Gallon Bank building. Also on the agenda will be the voting of 11 base contract agreements for 2026-27, among them with the East End United Community Center of Uniontown, the Fayette County Community Action Agency, and Mental Health Association of Fayette County, among others. The Board of Commissioners also plan to vote on their attendance at the 2026 Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful annual conference in Reading. That will be later this year. Nick Barczyk, WMPS. The bid opening for Washington, PA's new multi-million-dollar public safety building is being delayed by at least 3 weeks after one of the construction bidders protested the process when county officials put a heavy emphasis on using union labor to perform the work. The opening of the 20 bids the county received was scheduled for last Thursday when the formal protest came in from one of the unmanned and unnamed bidders, that'd be unnamed bidders, halting the process as officials plan to revise the bid requirements and release more information. Washington now plans to open the bids July 30th, the county commissioners, and they could award the contract during a special meeting that day or wait until their next regular voting meeting, August 18th. A district judge has thrown out an effort by the U.S. Department of Justice to obtain unredacted voter identification data from the state of West Virginia. The case by the DOJ came weeks after West Virginia Secretary of State Chris Warner refused to voluntarily turn over voter information, saying it would violate state law. A federal judge in Michigan has already tossed a suit similar to West Virginia's, claiming there's no act passed by the U.S. Congress that gives the Department of Justice power to obtain voter ID data from states. Chipotle Mexican Grill is getting set to open its first restaurant in Mexico, a chain that has locations now in Fayette County.
¿El guacamole es fresco hecho cada día?
Todos nuestros ingredientes son reales.
Doors will open Thursday in Nuevo Leon in partnership with Allsea, a leading restaurant operator in Latin America and Europe. Chipotle CEO Scott Boatwright says they're entering the country with deep respect for the culinary heritage, along with a belief that there's a strong interest in high-quality food that the establishment offers. The company currently operates more than 4,100 restaurants across the world.
Ingredientes real, con gente real.
Delicioso.
I'm Michael Kastner.
Sports and weather next on WMPS.
So what's the difference between the sheds I see in the parking lot of the big box stores and a professionally built and installed JDM structure shed from Ultimate Structures? Good question. First, the manufacturer, JDM Structures, is one of the premier shed builders in business for 34 years. They use composite materials for the exterior with baked-on paint. This ensures you'll have an extended lifespan for your shed. And listen to this. 75% of Ultimate Structures orders are personally designed to satisfy the customer's needs. That's right. And the turnaround time for a custom-designed shed is no longer than just buying a stock shed. Compare the roof designs, the superior piano door hinges, the quality of the wall panels, and personal customer service, you'll see. Come to the Mega Lot on Route 51 South, just outside Perryopolis. You need a shed? We can help. We design what you desire. Ultimate Structures.
And in sports, we have Bucko baseball. Friday night, it's the All-Star break. Pirates are off until then, take on Cleveland, the Guardians, formerly known as the Indians. That's Friday night. I was told by my boss to say that. That's Friday night on WMBS. All-Star game tonight in Philadelphia. Hey, that's in the state we're in. And that's this evening, the American League and the National League. Pirates will not have any players in the game as Paul Skeens is not eligible to pitch, and Braxton Ashcraft is also choosing not to pitch. And that's the All-Star game this evening at 8. And the head of Major League Baseball's Players Union is no fan of the league's latest ad campaign. MLBPA President Bruce Meyer says the level of the field ads are not appropriate, saying the league is trying to convince the fans that the product is broken without a salary cap. Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred said today at the All-Star Game festivities that putting a salary cap in the next CBA collective bargaining agreement would maintain the momentum that has seen increases in attendance and TV ratings league-wide. And also the Penguins getting ready for their training camp, the AHL camp, I should say. A lot of rookies are there, along with Liam and Marcus Ruck, their first-round selections. And the Steelers begin training camp at St. Vincent 2 weeks from today. Now the weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania. Air quality alert rate this evening. Right now at 89 degrees. Overnight low at 70. Warming up to 95 tomorrow. Heat index values in the triple digits with the overnight low down to 74. Sunny and 94 Thursday. For the weekend, chance of showers and storms Friday afternoon into the evening, going up to 91 and cooling down to 80 with thunderstorms likely Saturday, 84 with a chance of rain and storms on Sunday, and then drying out Monday with sun at 88. And Doug Saltzman snapping his fingers at me like I'm his butler. Yes, sir.
AccuWeather is going to be joining us at 5:20 today to talk about the heat wave.
And John Wayner as well. Forgot to mention that in the sports report. What would I do without you, Doug? AccuWeather and John Wayner. Boy, what a show.
Different topics, however.
I would say. John Wayner's going to talk weather. AccuWeather's going to talk baseball. Why not? We talk about things we don't know, which is everything. It's 5:11, 89 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm Nick Barczyk. It's Doug Report. Then Doug Saltzman. You've already heard him. He's up next with the afternoon drive show until 7 tonight on WMBS.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
Good evening. This is Jeremy Hoover of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 9 points, closing at 52,508.
WMBS, Uniontown.
The Nasdaq Composite was up 233 points, closing at 26,107. The S&P 500 was up 34 points, closing at 7,550. Among companies of local interest were Apple, $314.86, Amazon, $247.49, Cisco, $117.09, Boeing, $217.17, Caterpillar, $933.95, Disney, $95.88, ExxonMobil, $145.09, First Energy, $49.22, Johnson & Johnson, $253.85, Home Depot, $337.85, Intel, $107.76, McDonald's, $268.90, Meta Platforms, $661.04, PNC Financial Services, $251.72, Raytheon Technologies, $193.71, Rockwell Automation, $469.74, Tesla, $396.18, Verizon, $42.45, Walmart, $113.70. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 9 points, closing at 52,508. The Nasdaq Composite was up 233 points, closing at 26,107. And the S&P 500 was up 34 points, closing at 7,550. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs, this is Jeremy Hoover.
The music stopped when I started having knee pain.
For gospel singer Andrea Michaud, knee pain was keeping her from doing what she loves. That's when she turned to orthopedic surgeon Jason Kinney, MD, and the team at WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital.
I am singing his praises.
Our patients benefit from large health system expertise and community hospital comfort. Learn more at wvumedicine.org/Uniontown.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
Derby's Riverside Ford is proud to announce that we have been awarded Ford Motor Company's highest honors for 2025, the One Ford Elite Award and the Ford President's Award. The One Ford Elite Award recognizes the best of the best, the top dealership among all Ford President's Award winners. This honor means Derby's Riverside Ford has earned the #1 spot in customer satisfaction.
Achieving this distinction requires exceeding customer expectations every day and delivering the highest levels of performance. It takes passion, dedication, and hard work from our entire team in both sales and service. The Thurby family and our dedicated employees have earned the Ford President's Award 26 times, and we want to thank all our loyal customers for rating us the highest in the Pittsburgh region for customer satisfaction.
At Thurby's Riverside Ford, we believe every sale is just the beginning. True success comes when a customer becomes part of the Thurby family for life, and that's the standard of excellence we strive for every day. Stop by and experience the Thurby difference for yourself. Visit Thurby's Riverside Ford, located just 1 mile past the casino at Nemacolin.
Are your sofa cushions flat? Are the springs sagging or broken? Does the fabric show signs of wear from years of use? Well, now is a great time to buy a sofa at Chesler's Fine Furniture during their Craftmaster Custom Order Sale. Choose from 50 different styles and more than 1,200 different fabrics and colors. The possibilities are endless with beauty and quality inside and out. Craftmaster has delivered quality and value by using the latest in furniture design and technology. In fact, Craftmaster cushions and decks have been tested and shown to deliver 23% greater support over a 10-year period. Only because Chesler's is confident that the quality is built in, they are offering a limited 5-year warranty on all suits. Craftmaster sofas start at just $9.99 with matching love seats and chairs available. All living room suits will be on sale at Chesler's, with sofas starting as low as $4.99. Credit terms and delivery are available. Chesler's Fine Furniture, Route 51 in Uniontown, where customers send their friends.
Bright Stripe, Bay County's premier asphalt seal coating professionals, locally owned by Matt and Lexi George. Bright Stripe specializes in residential and commercial asphalt seal coating, also excelling in line striping and layouts, thermoplastic, and infrared asphalt repair. Bright Stripe has succeeded due to their commitment to quality work for 30 years. Bright Stripe, 724-437-6090, or visit bright-stripe.com. BRITE-stripe.com.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Avenue. Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
You know, you always want your producer to be, up and ready to roll when the show starts. And Nick looks at me just before I'm about to talk into the mic and says, "Our long national nightmare is about to begin." Thanks,
a funny
Nick.
play on words from, I think, a Gerald Ford reference from 50 years ago.
Yeah, it was Gerald Ford said that. He said the long national nightmare is over when Richard Nixon resigned and he was sworn in as president. But then it was then said by a Pittsburgh sports broadcaster
Was it?
years later.
Well, I must say before you tell that story, Letterman, because he's the best, played that clip on the night of his last show, right before his intro. This is Gerald Ford saying our long national nightmare is over, and then it said, "Ladies and gentlemen, David Letterman."
David
And
Letterman.
he
Oh, that's
walks
good.
out.
Yeah.
He
By
was
the way, I'm
best.
Doug Saltzman. This is the Afternoon Drive Show with you till 7 o'clock tonight. Haven't been in studio a lot lately. Been doing the show remotely because they've been short shows due to the Pirate game. Although
Yeah.
I was in last Friday with Rick Seaback. You weren't here, Nick.
No, I wasn't. Happy 4th to Rick, and I'm sure he brought food and goodies.
Well, we went out to dinner, so we, that sort of thing. We always do that.
The
And,
table and Maloney's ready before you walked in.
Maloney was. We were gonna go to Maloney's. They were on their summer break.
Wow. They have to take breaks? A restaurant
Like
that?
open the place for Rick and
Open
Doug,
up.
for
Come
heaven's
on,
sake.
Throw some pasta on the bar.
So what was I droning on about a moment ago when I started?
Our long national nightmare.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
Greg Brown
Greg
say that?
Brown said
Yeah.
that when the Pirates finally broke their losing streak, or consecutive, 20 years of non-winning seasons.
21, yeah.
I thought it was 20. Didn't hit
Well,
the Clemente
92
level.
92 to 13.
And figure that out later. I can't do that math in my head right now. Because we have a guest on our line,
Pretty
we
sure
should get
that's
to that
21
guest.
years.
First off, it's hot out
He
there.
just hung up. He's bored.
It's too darn hot out there.
Too hot. You almost think it was summer.
We will blame the meteorologist for that. And joining us right now, right out of the gate, on the WMBS Newsmakers line, from AccuWeather, meteorologist Chad Merrill. Chad, thanks for joining us today. Can we blame you and your colleagues? It's too hot. We have to blame someone.
That's fine. I'll take the blame.
All right, that's good. That's good. That's a.
I would rather have.
You're all in State College. It's safe to blame somebody that far away. So.
Yeah. You can blame me. That's fine. I'd rather have a foot of snow. So.
Yeah, so would I. I'm a winter person. 72 degrees, room temperature is all I ever need.
Yep,
my
that's the
brother's
warmest.
been complaining about. My brother Dave's been complaining about the heat. He's moving to Florida in a month. I'm like, well, good luck, Dave. This is
All right.
This is your life coming up shortly here. So this is really the second. We'll call it the second heat wave of the year.
5:90 a.m.
And it doesn't happen a lot, but to hit these 90s like this twice in just a few weeks, is that unprecedented or just rare?
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, through the 13th of July, so through yesterday at the Pittsburgh airport, which is not too far from Uniontown, this ranks as the 7th warmest July on record. So yes, it is unusual because we rank in the top 10 for hottest Julys so far, and we are getting a stretch of 90-degree weather. In sixth place was 1921. You have to go back. As a matter of fact, even the most recent time that we came close to this was 2012. So it's been quite a while since we've had this magnitude of heat across the region. So, yep, that is an accurate statement.
And we've been talking about that. I guess there's a what is it, pollution advisory, Nick? What do we air quality, and that
yes.
that ties in obviously with the heat as well, correct?
Yes, and you know what? Part of that is due to Canadian wildfire smoke. These Canadian wildfires in Ontario got going yesterday and actually producing a thin layer of haze out there right now. Once we get into tomorrow, it'll be that thin layer of haze a little bit, but Thursday and Friday, we could have some code orange or code red air quality as the thickness of that smoke and gets a little bit more concentrated over southwestern Pennsylvania thanks to the orientation of the jet stream bringing that smoke down from Ontario into our region. So we do have the heat to contend with. Tomorrow's high about 97 degrees, Thursday's high about 95 or 96, and then we have the smoke to worry about. So the biggest concentration of it, or the worst air quality, will likely be on Friday.
So does this create like almost a dome effect where it makes it even hotter when that sort of smoke comes in, and does it like hold itself in this area? I'm trying to find the right words to use here. So does it create its own weather system when that smoke comes in because it holds the heat in or not?
Actually, no, the smoke will keep it a few degrees cooler. We saw that back in 2023 where the smoke was so thick over Washington, D.C. and New York City that it kept the temperatures from reaching their forecast high. It was off by about 2 or 3 degrees. So during the day, it acts to keep the temperature 1 to 3 degrees cooler, and it doesn't really have any impact at night. And then when it comes to thunderstorm initiation, can actually prevent thunderstorms more than help them develop during the day. It's that heat dome. When the heat dome settles in, you've probably heard the term heat dome, that helps to collect the heat, and that does lead to air quality problems as well. The center of this particular heat dome is going to be just to our south and west over Ohio and parts of West Virginia before it diminishes a bit. So it's temporarily going to be close to us, but the biggest note, what people will notice, the biggest change is, A, it's hazy and maybe a little bit of a smell of smoke by Friday. So we have a couple of things to keep in mind, the heat and the smoke, and then eventually thunderstorm threats on Saturday.
Yeah. That's why we have experts like Chad Merrill on. I thought it would just have the opposite effect, that it would cause it to be hotter. But you're saying, no, it actually reduces the temperature by a few degrees.
Yeah.
Smoke, what's it, 2023? I can't believe it's already been 3 years. I remember we were reporting on this here at the station when that came in. And when that smoke really hit, it was the first time since I was a kid, and I'll be 63 next week. When I was a kid growing up in the Pittsburgh area, you could smell the mills all the time. That was a normal thing. My dad said, "You smell that, son? That's the smell of jobs," because Dad worked in the mill. I don't think the environmentalists agreed with that approach, but that's what my dad used to say back in the day. The heat that we've seen here, we don't hit 90s all that often in southwestern Pennsylvania, certainly not up on the ridges of Fayette County and Westmoreland County. But how many days, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, do we hit 90 usually in southwestern PA?
That's a good, I'd have to look that information up. I would say probably 5 or 6 days a year. I'd have to look that information up, though.
So we're getting close
to be honest with you.
Already. Just your ballpark figure, we're close to that already this year, especially by the end of this week, about how many days we've hit 90 already.
Yeah, so what I can tell you is that the average first date of a 90-degree day in the Pittsburgh area is June 17th. That's the average first 90-degree day that we typically have. And let's see, we hit, we were in the 90s for most of July. I'd have to look back and see if we actually hit, let's see, in June, we were 90...
That's Chad Merrill is
June 30th.
His facts here. June 30th.
June 30th. So we were a little bit later than average with the first 90-degree day, but still, we've had many of them since.
Yeah. As we do, and we're going to throw this one at you too. Whenever we have a meteorologist on, we always ask you to give us a forecast, if you could, for our region. I assume you're ready to rock and roll with that. Just to give us an idea of what we're looking at for the next few days here in southwestern PA.
Yeah, so overnight down to 68 degrees with a mostly clear sky. Mostly sunny tomorrow, the high temperature 97. Again, that thin layer of haze from the smoke gets a little bit thicker on Thursday. There could be some air quality concerns. The high 96, the AccuWeather real field temperature, very close to the actual air temperature. And then once we get into Thursday night, mostly clear, a little bit of haze in the sky, the low 67. Friday, a little bit more smoke as well. So keep that in mind, partly sunny, the high temperature right around 90, so it won't be as oppressive on Friday. And then Saturday, we will see a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm. We do have the potential for flooding downpours and damaging wind gusts, so keep that in mind, the high temperature 83. A thunderstorm or two Saturday night down to 68, and a couple of showers and a thunderstorm Sunday, the high 81. Monday's high 82. So when those showers and storms come with that front, that'll help break the heat on Saturday.
And, of course, a little cooler than that up on the ridges, we always like to remember.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
How very different the temperatures can be from down here in the lowlands compared to the ridges in Fayette and Westmoreland counties. Chad Merrill from AccuWeather in State College. As I always ask, are you a Penn Stater? Are you a Penn State grad?
Actually, no. I went to school very close to where your station is at Penn West, California.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, right down the road.
Right around the corner, for heaven's sakes. Okay, well, then we can accept that. I'm a Penn Stater. We always check to see how many meteorologists actually went to Penn State.
Right, yeah. There's quite a few here, of course.
Naturally, and it's a remarkably high number nationally, too, about how many meteorologists went to Penn State.
Yeah.
It's good to have you. A hometown boy here, Penn West, California. When you were there, I'm guessing California University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was Cal U back then, and the Monfayette Expressway was just being built whenever I was there, so it's been a while.
There we go. I was at a meeting once when they first talked about building it. So, yeah, I've been doing this stuff for quite a while. So, hey, thanks so much, Merle. We really do appreciate, Chad, you're joining us today. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Have a good afternoon.
You do the same. We're about 10 seconds away from that Fox News update at 30 minutes and 30 seconds past the hour. I'm Doug. That's Nick. Stick around. We'll be back.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. The U.S. military says it reimposed its blockade of Iranian ports. The Pentagon also launching fresh strikes against Iran. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson.
Despite the American bombardment over the past week, Iran has been launching attacks of its own against neighboring Gulf states, including Kuwait and Bahrain, where U.S. troops are housed.
Pentagon says more than 50,000 U.S. service members remain deployed across the Middle East. Immigration enforcement is pausing most traffic stops to allow agents to go through more training. Fox's Alexis McAdams.
The pause in most vehicle stops during immigration enforcement operations follows 2 fatal ICE-involved shootings in less than a week. One was yesterday morning in the state of Maine, where DHS says a migrant who was in the country illegally was shot and killed by an ICE agent.
Now, another ICE-involved shooting happened in Texas. Both encounters have led to anti-ICE protests. America's listening to Fox News.
Get ready for dirt, diesel, and heart-pounding action at the Fayette County Fair. From Thursday, July 30th to Saturday, August 8th, make your way to the Fayette County Fairgrounds for the experience of a lifetime. They're loaded with action-packed events every day for the entire family to enjoy. See the brute force of the USA tractor, truck, stock, and semi-pulls, the Wild Western Rodeo, or the mayhem of Rise Wrestling. Experience adrenaline-packed motocross races, then buckle up for 2 hardcore demolition derbies. Watch the guarded and deadweight tractor pull, rev up your engines for monster truck races featuring freestyle motocross, and see the madness of Mudmania. Mark your calendars now, fire up your summer, and don't miss a single night of the action at the Fayette County Fair. For the full fair schedule and for a list of advanced ticket locations where you could save $5 and get your Fayette County Fair tickets for just $15, visit FayetteFair.com.
Fayette County Fair, incredible fun for everyone.
Experiencing symptoms of COPD? Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale has been selected to conduct a clinical research study, and participants are needed. All study-related care will be provided at no cost, and no health insurance is required. Compensation up to $2,200 for qualified participants for time and travel. To learn more, call Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale at 724-220-5281. That's Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale at 724-220-5281.
Go to Ford Uniontown and trade me in.
Uh-oh. Tom, did I hear them say that they had a check engine light on?
Jess, I heard someone say yesterday they had a strange noise.
It happens all the time.
And when repair bills start piling up, maybe it's time to stop fixing and start saving.
Right now, at Ford of Uniontown, it's employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay what we pay on America's favorite Ford vehicles, including the F-150, Bronco, and Maverick.
So instead of spending thousands fixing that old ride, drive home something newer, safer, and more dependable with incredible savings and financing options that fit your budget.
Because let's be honest, cars breaking?
It happens all the time.
Don't forget that you can schedule service appointments online and free pickup and delivery. Your truck knows, shouldn't you? That's Ford of Uniontown on the hill across from Applebee's. 724-425-5980 or FordofUniontown.com.
Price excludes tax, title, and transfer fees. Must finance with Ford credit. Not all buyers will qualify.
If you are looking for a trusted local law firm with a strong commitment to their clients, look no further than Zebley Law Offices. Attorney Zebley has been practicing law in Fayette County for more than 4 decades. Although specializing in bankruptcy, Zebley also handles real estate matters, civil suits, collections, wills, powers of attorney, and more. If you need legal help, go with a name you recognize and trust. Call Zebley Law Offices today at 724-439-9200.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Well, it was good to have Chad Merrill on the air with us from AccuWeather out of State College. And he went to Penn West Cal. It's good for him, man.
Not
Local
bad.
boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know they had a meteorology program there.
I didn't either.
Unless
a lot of teachers go there. I know that.
Unless that was his undergrad. I think it was originally called like Cal Teachers College.
It was. My mom still has the sweatshirt.
Oh, does she
Right,
really?
Yeah.
I'll tell her to hold on to that.
She'll donate it.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
She's not giving that up.
Put it in the Hall of Fame
Right.
over at Penn West.
They have a Hall of Fame, the Wing of Honor.
Well, this would be the first entry.
That would be it.
This-
You got to
this-
start somewhere,
This
Saltzman.
sweatshirt, I suppose.
Right, Mr.
A buddy of
Saltzman.
mine went to CMU, which was then Carnegie Tech. He has a Carnegie Tech sweatshirt from then, not just a redo one.
That's a hard school to get into, man. They don't even let me drive by it.
I used to go to frat parties there, and they would
Oh,
throw me out.
I
yeah.
bet, yes. What's your GPA? Only 3.5? I bet a 4.0 is not good enough. You have to
get
call the
into
AP classes.
Carnegie Mellon. Speaking of really bright people,
Wow.
we always try to have people brighter than us. Well, we used to say that on the air, but then that's an insult to everybody because who's not brighter than you and me,
Yeah,
Nick,
not
for
many.
heaven's sake?
You have to be pretty dim.
Yeah, that's right. But joining us right now on the WMBS Newsmakers line, the Chief Policy Officer from the Commonwealth Foundation, Nathan Benefield. Nathan, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
We put you up on a pedestal there, so you're really going to have to impress us now with the comment. Now, well, during the administration of Josh Shapiro, getting budgets late is sort of par for the course. Getting them done in July, though, was rather unusual. I mean, yes, they were 2 weeks late, but considering last year's was November, for crying out loud, this budget got done quicker than I think most people would have suspected, and the bigger surprise may have been on a weekend that these things got done. In fact, it took almost as long to get the budget done as his budget addresses the last few years have been, I think. I've never quite heard budget addresses quite as long as Josh Shapiro has had them. But let's talk about the budget. Well, let's talk about, first off, what the governor wanted in the budget initially and how to pay for it, one of which, of course, was using the rainy day fund, which is absolutely illegal. It's not a subtle difference. You cannot use it just for budgeting purposes, correct?
That's correct, yeah. The governor had asked for $53.3 billion budget. What was passed spends about $1.5 billion less than he proposed. And he wanted to drain that rainy day fund, which, as you said, is really our emergency reserves. And in fact, the state law says it can only be used in an emergency or when there is a significant recession that leads to a loss of revenue. Obviously, we have counties actually doing very, very well this year, so that would be illegal to drain that. But he wanted to take almost $5 billion out of that to pay for new programs, and thankfully, what passed over the weekend was protects that and says we're not going to use that emergency reserves. We've got other ways of paying for it, and some gimmicks, but really prevented draining our reserves and prevented any tax increases.
Yeah, what was interesting, too, when you think about during COVID, of all the times that you would think revenue would be down, it might be considered an emergency, the rainy day fund wasn't even used then, correct? During COVID.
That's correct, but it was almost zero at that time anyway. That we really last drained it during the Great Recession in 2008 and 2009, and then COVID hit. We didn't have much in there. The federal government came in and kind of bailed states out, but then over the last several years we've rebuilt that rainy day fund. In fact, the governor was been touting this past year like, we got a lower interest rate on our bonds, save taxpayers money. And it's because the credit agencies said, you have a great rainy day fund, so we're giving you a better credit rating. So draining it would have hurt our ability to borrow money, and it would cost a higher interest rate, which means taxpayers pay more. So really was crucial to keep that reserve there for when we have a rainy day, because we know as good as the economy's been now, there probably will be a recession coming in the future.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Everybody's heard of the rainy day fund. It's the state's savings account, basically. But explain, if you would, what it is. And again, you touched on it there, but why it's so important not to drain it.
Yeah, it was basically created to set aside money for that. Typically, when the economy is good, you want to, lawmakers want to spend every dollar they can. It's kind of the nature of politics. But having that rainy day fund allows for, all right, what happens when there is a recession and when revenues aren't coming into the state, or when there is an emergency or something. 9/11, for instance, was previous time they'd used the rainy day fund. When there is something like that, to have that backdrop. And it is, it's currently we're only around the national average. So we've got, we put out, a few years ago we were second to last in the nation. We had enough money in the rainy day fund to fund state government for about 2 hours, and now we can do it for about 50 days. So that's approximately how much is in the rainy day fund now, about 50 days worth of state government operations.
And most people might think, oh my gosh, that's it? You can only do it for less than 2 months, but that's significant. That's a boatload of cash to keep the state going. Every once in a while I realize how old I'm getting. I'll be 63 this next week. And when I was first lobbying in Harrisburg back in the late 80s, I think the state budget was $12 billion, I think. Yeah. But just in the last 12 years, or even 8 years, there's been a significant increase in the amount being spent by state government, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's been, I have to get the exact numbers, but, it was, just $30 billion a few years ago. Now it's up over $50 billion. And it's been kind of a thing where when the economy was good, or even when during the kind of the COVID years, there was a lot of federal funds coming in. The federal government was giving money to the state. The state continued to increase spending, and then the federal money went away, and that's kind of what led to the situation of, hey, we're spending more than we're bringing in revenues. That was the challenge facing lawmakers this year. They managed to put together a budget that continues to spend, in our opinion, too much and spending more than revenues, but finding a way to pay for it without raising taxes, at least this year and probably next year.
And of course, there's always, it's come as a shock, politics involved in this process. Pennsylvania is one of the few, if not the only state that has a divided legislature. Of course, the House is controlled by Democrats, 102 to 101, or whatever it might be these days. And the Senate has been in Republican hands for all but about 2.5 years for the last 30 years. But you do have a divided legislature. You have a Democratic governor. And of course, the House passed the governor's version of the budget back in April. But that's far from what passed in the final look-see, I suppose, correct?
Yeah, and I've said, they really passed the governor's spending plan in April. They passed how much it was going to spend. They didn't pass a way to pay for it. And so that was kind of the big challenge of how do you pay for the spending, for spending so much more than the state is going in revenue. What passed this weekend was, again, about $1.5 billion, a little over $1 billion less than that in terms of spending. And it took a lot of money from what they call it the couch cushions of state government. There's different hidden funds in the state coffers besides the main checking account, a lot of different accounts, and even clawing back things they'd given to state agencies in years past that they had never spent or used money on. Took that back to help pay for spending in this budget, but does kick the can down the road by delaying some payments into next year. So we are going to have a fight again next year to figure out how to balance the budget.
And of course, it including over $1 billion in Medicare costs have been deferred. Correct? That's not chump change, for heaven's sakes.
Correct. Yeah, they're deferring, basically paying 11 months worth of Medicaid costs and deferring one of those payments into next year. Of course, that bill's going to come due. I think if your family was doing that, delaying, we're just going to delay payments by a month, that wouldn't be indicative of a good fiscal situation or good budget there. That's basically what the state is doing, deferring those costs to next year. And so we'll be back again next year talking about the same situation of how are they going to balance the budget and pay for this without raising taxes.
We were talking with Chief Policy Officer with the Commonwealth Foundation, Nathan Benefield. We have guests on usually once a month from the Commonwealth Foundation. We talk about it regularly, but we always like to have you or your colleagues take a moment and explain what the foundation is and what your goals are.
Sure. Commonwealth Foundation, we are a free market think tank, which means that we try and identify free market solutions to public policies, and solutions that will benefit and help all Pennsylvanians thrive and prosper with the best public policies, and are really kind of the watchdogs in the state capitol fighting against higher taxes and for limited government and for educational freedom.
Let's talk about that educational freedom. At one point, it was not that long ago, the House voted to eliminate some of those programs that so many Pennsylvania students take advantage of, especially those in failing school districts. What's the latest on some of those scholarship programs? And they come in various names, but I'll let you handle that.
Yeah. We have two tax credit scholarship programs in Pennsylvania: the Education Improvement Tax Credit and Opportunity Scholarship Tax Credit, which allow donors to provide scholarships to low-income students to attend private school. The House Democrats pushed legislation that would cut that and then replace that program with a different program that would really undermine those educational options. That thankfully was rejected, didn't make it into this budget deal. But at the same time, we've done a lot of research on this program, finding that there's about 100,000 students that were served last year with scholarships, but almost 70,000 scholarship applications turned away. So there's a long waiting list to get access to these programs, and it really needs to be expanded, and a lot of students waiting for more educational options. Unfortunately, there was no increase in those programs this year.
Yeah, we've talked to your colleagues about the education spending in Pennsylvania and how it continues to increase despite, especially the urban areas, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, having fewer and fewer students to educate because their families have chosen to go to cyber schools or charter schools or private schools. But the funding issue in Pennsylvania has one of the highest per student spending in the country, correct?
Yeah, it is. We're at around $24,000 per student in terms of what we're spending. And you think of that in terms of a classroom of 20 kids, that's $480,000 per classroom. And it's a real question of where the money goes. And it is something where, again, there was a big increase in this budget, about $900 million, even as a lot of the enrollment in certain areas has decreased. And really that money, the increase in funding is driven out based on which school districts are favored, not on student enrollment. And it's not really a per student allocation, but a complicated formula that favors some districts over others.
I'm always dumbfounded when you think of the size of the administration at some of these school districts. I went to a Catholic school, as did my kids, my mother, my brother. And we used to joke that the entire administration at this school, and at one point it had 800 students, was the principal and the secretary, who was also the bookkeeper, who happened to be my mother. And they literally ran the entire school. And when I think about that, and when you compare it to the size of administrations at other schools around the state, it's just mind-boggling how much money does not go to teachers, but goes to the actual administration of the schools themselves. That seems to be a significant overspend, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's really been one of the growth areas of, you'd think we talk about, declining enrollment. School districts have actually added staff while the enrollment has declined. And most of that growth is in administration. They've added more and more administrative positions, and that's where a lot of the spending is going to, rather than, in fact, teacher pay hasn't increased really that much, adjusting for inflation. A lot of it's gone into just hiring more staff and especially more administrators.
Yeah. And I really am not exaggerating on that either. Yes, there was a maintenance director, there were cafeteria workers, but the school itself was run by a principal and and my mother, who was the secretary / bookkeeper. It seems amazing at times when you see the numbers that come out of the public schools and what's being spent. As we continue to talk about state spending, The president of the Commonwealth Foundation, Andrew Lewis, was quoted saying, and it's a line that's been used before, but Pennsylvania doesn't have a funding problem. It has a spending problem. So not a funding problem, but a spending problem. So explain what he meant by that.
Well, basically, it's kind of like, why have we gotten into the situation where we are spending, in this case, $4 billion more than revenues? It's not because revenues haven't increased. We've had record high revenues. In fact, this year almost $1 billion more than was expected because of growth, especially stock market growth. The economy is doing very well, but it's simply a matter of we are continuing to grow spending faster than the economy, faster than taxpayers' ability to pay, driven by both special interests and by some of the formulas. And certainly in the case of welfare programs, a lot of fraud and erroneous spending.
You think back during COVID, how many prisoners were getting unemployment compensation? As it was an ongoing issue back then, of people not realizing they may have worked the entire time and realized that someone was getting their unemployment payments because it only showed up on their tax statements later on. They had to fight that one. But yeah, the fraud at times is mind-boggling when you think of something as ridiculous as prisoners getting unemployment compensation during COVID. Goes beyond ridiculous, frankly. And Nate, thanks so much. We appreciate your taking time to join us today to talk about the budget issues. Again, kicking the can down the road, I suppose, is one way to explain how this budget got passed, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be on again and talk about this next year.
No doubt. And between now and then as well. Nate, thanks so much. We really do appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Nathan Benefield from the Commonwealth Foundation is joining us on the Afternoon Drive Show. I'm Doug Saltzman. That's Nick Barczyk at the controls. We are with you till 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Where'd that come from?
I hope
Dear
not.
God.
Man,
So
I'm
7
done.
o'clock tonight.
A tear just went down my
Yeah.
eye.
Woo.
No.
Till 7 o'clock tonight. Joining us.
Hey, you can stay until 10.
Okay.
I'm heading out.
Joining us at 6:35 will be Pittsburgh Pirates former player, current announcer John Wayner, talking about the sort of halfway point of the season. This was a late.
It is late.
Late All-Star game.
It usually happens where more than half the season is done by the All-Star game, but I think this year it's even later than normal.
I guess unless they were trying to get it. It's in Philadelphia, obviously, because of the semi-quincentennial.
Right.
I'm sure that was picked for that. Maybe they just want to get it past the 4th of July.
I guess it's always on the second Tuesday in July, but it's the 14th. It's late this year.
So it sounds cool to say that the Pirates have hit 50 wins before the All-Star break for the first time since 2015.
Is that right? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
11
we have to
years.
remember it's a later All-Star game.
Right.
But nonetheless, it still sounds cool. They're 3 games over.
They lead the league in runs scored, and yet they're not in a playoff spot. Don't have any All-Star hitters in the roster. 2 pitchers who are not pitching this evening.
But they are in contention. That's one way to look
yes,
at it.
Yes.
Just
The
a couple
wild card
games
spot,
out of
2.5
wild card.
out. Yep.
Yeah,
You're right.
the division is said and done, I think.
Yeah, Milwaukee's up 9.5
Yeah, it's
games.
incredible
They're
how
having a
far
great
ahead
year.
they are.
As of the Dodgers, what a shock.
Yeah, well, amazing, huh?
Yeah.
That the Dodgers are up. We'll talk a little more baseball coming up, but let's first take a break. You're listening to the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
The weather is hot and the cars are going to be even hotter at the 5th Annual Centerville American Legion Car, Tractor, and Bike Show, Sunday, July 19th, at the Legion on Old National Pike in Fredericktown. Registration begins at 10 and the car show runs from 12 to 4. Hi, I'm Josh Krysak. My wife Carly and I will be broadcasting live from 1 to 3. Stop by and say hello, and be sure and spin the fabulous WMBS prize wheel for your chance to win Pirates tickets, Zoo tickets, PA Lottery scratch-offs, WMBS swag, and more. The event features music by the Sunglass Man, a 50-50 drawing, hot dogs and hamburgers, car awards, more than 70 Chinese auction baskets, and so much more. For more information, call Sherry Lacey at 724-984-1459. We will see you there on Sunday, July 19th at the Centerville American Legion Car, Tractor, and Bike Show.
Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott in Uniontown is a proud sponsor of Sportsline. When you work with Janie, it's about going beyond investing. It's about connecting your life and your finances in a way that makes sense for you. The team partners with you through each stage of life to help you set and reach your financial goals. To learn more about the Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group at Janie, be sure to check out their website at www.lhwag.com. Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
For over 50 years, Mauser's Tire Center has kept our community rolling safely. Located on Route 40 West at Seawrights Crossroads, they're your trusted source for new, used, and recap tires, plus expert repairs. Need a new set or a quick fix? Then call Mauser's at 724-249-2410, and they'll get you ready for the road. Mauser's Tire Center, 5 decades of keeping you safe.
When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30, and Saturdays, 8 to 12 noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus or Rags a call today, 724-439-3228, for Cherokee Recycling, where recycling makes the most sense.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has 2 convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borges.
For funeral services from pre-need to at-need, burial or cremation, call Gates Funeral Home and Crematory, located at 136 North Gallatin Avenue in a beautifully restored historic home. Family owned and operated by Rick Gates, former Brownsville resident and Guyville alumni, the Gates Funeral Home and Crematory offers warmth, convenience, affordability, and ample parking. With a knowledgeable funeral director and compassionate staff, the Gates family and the Gates Funeral Home and Crematory are ready to assist you.
WNBS.
Pressure. Pressure. Who's singing this song?
Great question. Bill Madden, if you're listening, call us. Are you quizzing me, or do you
I'm
not
quizzing
know
you.
either? Huey Lewis. No, I forget. Who did do Pressure? David Bowie.
David Bowie and Queen.
Did he really? I just threw that out there. Was it David Bowie and Queen? I hear David Bowie and Freddie Mercury were good friends.
Oh, come on.
We'll
now.
leave it at
Nick,
that.
Nick. No, it wasn't David.
No, but that I mean they hung out.
David Bowie wasn't friends with him, but I think Ziggy Stardust was.
Oh, I see.
That was, if you don't know who Ziggy Stardust, that was, of course, not you, Nick. Our listeners, I know you know who he is.
Of course.
He was the alter ego of David Bowie. Of
Right,
course.
right.
Remember the who was the country singer who had an alter ego?
That popped in my head as soon as you said alter ego. Garth Brooks.
Chris,
for years.
Chris something?
I forget his alter ego, but it was a very odd thing.
I want to say Chris Pine, but that's a real person.
No, it's a real person. He's suing you right now. Yeah, Garth Brooks, who is a great country star.
And
great singer.
He had this odd look to him
Yeah.
for this alter ego thing.
I don't think it worked as well as Ziggy Stardust culturally, but it worked, I guess. Yeah.
Guys, he's not making car payments.
No, he's doing all right.
That's how I bring it down to.
Right.
Is someone making car payments? That's what it would be. On a very serious note, we're going to check in at 6:15 with AP Nork, our friend Marjorie Conley.
Oh.
They did a recent survey among Jewish Americans to see how they're being treated, how they feel they are being treated, and their thoughts on issues in America. So we're going to talk to her at 6:15 this evening. As I mentioned earlier, John Wayner, of course, Pittsburgh Pirates color commentator, former Pirate himself, will be joining us on the afternoon drive show to talk about the first half of the Pirate season, the unofficial first half. And not bad, 3 games over 500. I think most people would be shocked or are shocked at where they are, especially the fact that they swept Milwaukee, the second best team in baseball. They swept them in the last the last series before the break, including a crazy game where they scored 14 runs, including 10 runs in one inning. That also included the first 9 batters reached base, and that was the first time that the Pirates have done that since 1986 against the Montreal Expos. First 9 batters reached base. It wasn't like there were grand slams in that 10 inning.
Oh, that was impressive. Yeah,
That was amazing.
14-5
Again, I'm Doug.
win.
That's Nick. Stick around. We're with you till 7 o'clock.
The blockade is back on. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The U.S. military says more than 20 Navy warships and hundreds of aircraft are operating across the Middle East to block passage to Iranian ports after Iran's attack on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
And when fully enforced by the U.S. Navy, it will cost Iran over $400 million a day. And tonight, on President Trump's orders, a 6th wave of U.S. airstrikes is striking Iran. That's the 6th time over the past week. Despite the American bombardment over the past week, Iran has been launching attacks of its own against neighboring Gulf states, including Kuwait and Bahrain.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Tel Aviv. Yesterday, President Trump announced the blockade would happen today and also said he would impose a 20% fee on ships passing through the strait, but has since reversed course, citing requests from allies in the Gulf. The Florida Highway Patrol says a man running from immigration and other federal agents was struck and killed by a tractor trailer. The 28-year-old was among 4 people in a vehicle that had been stopped by police in St. Augustine. The 4 men ran off, they say, with one running across a busy road when he was hit. This is the 3rd death in about a week involving encounters with ICE agents. Earlier today, ICE suspended most vehicle stops after a Colombian man was shot to death in Maine yesterday. Border Czar Tom Homan tells Fox he thinks it's only temporary.
We'll let this play out where it is, but I think ICE is going to continue doing record arrests, record removals. And this is, I wouldn't even call it bumping the road. I mean, this is going to be a short-term review.
DHS says the officer, fearing for public safety, shot and killed the man because he was using his vehicle as a weapon. By a vote of 308 to 117, the House has approved a bill that would have the U.S. go to daylight saving time permanently, ending switching clocks twice a year. The bill next heads to the Senate, though its fate is unclear. America's listening to Fox News.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
2 teens have been charged with murder in the killings of 5 members of an Illinois family who were shot in 3 different locations in East St. Louis. A former Columbia University graduate student who had been detained by ICE and faced deportation proceedings has filed a federal lawsuit against the Trump administration and several private organizations.
Attorneys for Mahmoud Khalil filed the action in a New York federal court, alleging he was conspired against because of his criticism of Israel during protests at Columbia. The suit lists Heritage Foundation leaders and 2 online surveillance groups as defendants, along with the Trump administration. Khalil said he is determined to get justice and will not stop.
Until everyone who willingly contributed to my missing the birth of my son and to taking 104 days of my life from me answers for what they've done.
A federal judge ordered Khalil's release from ICE custody in June of last year. In New York, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
As cyclospora infections rise, health officials in Michigan say early information points to lettuce or salad greens as a possible culprit. The illness, which can cause stomach upset and diarrhea, has impacted at least 3,300 people in Michigan alone. More than 30 states have reported infections this year. The U.S. and Russia on a joint mission in space.
Blasting off from a cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, NASA astronaut Anil Menon and Russian crewmates Pyotr Dubrov and Anna Kikina on their way to the International Space Station. The mission is set to show the United States and Russia can cooperate despite political and military tension. The two countries work together on the space station, but hopes for Russian involvement in the Artemis lunar research program have fallen apart. Moscow's space corporation, Roscosmos, has started to work with China on a prospective moon mission.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. I'm Lisa Laceres, Fox News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. And now the news.
Good evening, 6:05 on a Tuesday, 89 outside of our Davis & Davis studios, and another warm day expected Wednesday into Thursday. Chance of showers into the weekend, much more on the Weather Watch and the sports in just a bit. But once again, Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection issuing a code orange air quality alert for the next 2 hours or so until 8 this evening. That's for Fayette, Westmoreland, Washington, and Allegheny counties. Sensitive people like older adults, young children, and those suffering from cardiac diseases and respiratory issues should not spend a lot of time outdoors this evening. Residents are also encouraged to avoid any open burning and to limit the use of gasoline equipment in order to help reduce air pollution in the area. A woman facing numerous charges after humane officers raided her home 2 years ago and found more than 70 dead and neglected and injured animals pled guilty to more than a dozen charges. Yesterday, 63-year-old Kathleen Cheney pled guilty to 9 felony counts of animal cruelty following an August 2024 raid on her home on Ashbaugh Road in Penn Township in Westmoreland County. Authorities discovered deplorable conditions and rescued dozens of injured, malnourished, and neglected animals, while several others were found dead. Cheney's husband, 54-year-old James Cheney, pled guilty to misdemeanor counts of animal negligence in May and was sentenced to 1 year of probation. Kathleen Cheney remains in custody, awaiting sentencing next month. The Vietnam Traveling Memorial Wall, a 3/5 scale replica of the Washington, D.C. monument, is on its way back to the region for a display here in Fayette County at the fairgrounds in Dunbar tomorrow through the 20th. The memorial will be accompanied by a restored Vietnam-era Huey UH-1H helicopter, which will offer air support for the vehicle procession as it goes north from Morgantown Wednesday. The traveling exhibit is designed to offer communities with support and a local opportunity to pay their respects and remember the sacrifices made during the Vietnam War. The West Virginia United Health System has settled with the federal government over violations of record keeping and reporting connected with controlled substances. Under the settlement, the system must pay fines totaling $4.17 million. A DEA investigation found the violations happened from 2017 to 2024 while the company operated at West Virginia University Health System. The government says the organization failed to report thefts and losses of controlled substances. Eaton Park's beloved Smiley Cookie is getting a sour twist this week for the return of Picklesburg. Pittsburgh area locations and the ones here in Fayette County will have Pickle Smiley Cookies available Thursday through Sunday. It's a classic sugar cookie topped with green pickle-flavored icing and the familiar grin. It's the first year that Eaton Park restaurants are officially joining as a Picklesburg sponsor. The American Red Cross says the national blood supply is down to 25% this month, and they need you to roll up your sleeve if you're able.
They say it's typical for donations to drop off in summer months. There are fewer blood drives, but the need for blood explodes when the weather is nice and we're out doing activities that, if they don't go as planned, may require blood. The American Red Cross says the average person has up to 12 pints of blood pumping through their body, so a 1 pint donation won't really make a difference to you, but it can help up to 3 people. So maybe roll up your sleeve today. I'm Bree Tennis.
And lottery fever is spreading with the combined Powerball and Mega Millions jackpots topping $1 billion this week. There was no grand prize winner in last night's Powerball drawings. The top prize jumps to an estimated $498 million ahead of the next chance to strike it rich tomorrow night. This evening's Mega Millions drawing is worth at least $637 million. The cash option on that works out to just under $280 million. More next on WMPS.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
In sports, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game this evening in Philadelphia. The American League battles the National League just after 8 o'clock this evening. Pirates pitchers Paul Skeens and Braxton Ashcraft will not pitch in the game this evening, but both on the National League All-Star team. Pirates are back in action at Cleveland Friday night. Steelers have training camp at St. Vincent and Latrobe 2 weeks from today. And in international sports news, the World Cup down to 3 teams as Spain beats France today. Spain in the final. They'll get the winner of Argentina and England in the final this weekend.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51.
And by the way, former Bucco player and now broadcaster, Pirates broadcaster John Wayner joins us to talk Pirates at the All-Star break at 6:35 this evening. The Weather Watch is being brought to you by State Farm agent Nathan Ferguson. Call Nate at 724-438-7611 for life, home, car insurance, and more. Get a free quote now. 88 right now outside of our studios, low at 70, 95 with sun. Wednesday feels like we're in the low 100s. Wednesday and Thursday, 94 with sun. Thursday, 90 on Friday with sun. Chance of overnight thunderstorm showers and storms likely, maybe heavy downpours. Saturday at 82. Chance of rain on Sunday at 83 and 88 on Monday. Right now it's 88 degrees. Air quality alert until 8 at 6:11 on a Tuesday evening. Good evening. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis and Davis Studios in WMBS Uniontown. And the afternoon drive show with Doug Saltzman next on WMBS. The Weather Watch has been brought to you by State Farm agent Nathan Ferguson. Nate is there for you. Call 724-438-7611 for life, home, car insurance, and more.
Everything is growing, and Madewell Services is here to help. They offer full lawn care service, including spring cleanups, mulching, landscaping and planting, weekly grass cutting, power washing, and more. Madewell Services also provides professional cleaning services for your home or office, moving in or out service, party cleanups, weekly cleanings, and junk removal. Licensed and insured for peace of mind. Call Madewell Services today at 724-912-1805. That's 724-912-1805 for a free estimate.
Bright Stripe, Bay County's premier asphalt seal coating professionals. Locally owned by Matt and Lexi George. Bright Stripe specializes in residential and commercial asphalt seal coating, also excelling in line striping and layouts, thermoplastic, and infrared asphalt repair. Bright Stripe has succeeded due to their commitment to quality work for 30 years. Bright Stripe, 724-437-6090 or visit bright-stripe.com. BRITE-stripe.com.
Go to 40 Uniontown and trade me in.
Uh-oh. Tom, did I hear them say that they had a check engine light on?
Jess, I heard someone say yesterday they had a strange noise.
It happens all the time.
And when repair bills start piling up, maybe it's time to stop fixing and start saving.
Right now, at Ford of Uniontown, it's employee pricing for everyone. That means you pay what we pay on America's favorite Ford vehicles, including the F-150, Bronco, and Maverick.
So instead of spending thousands fixing that old ride, drive home something newer, safer, and more dependable with incredible savings and financing options that fit your budget.
Because let's be honest, cars braking?
It happens all the time.
Don't forget that you can schedule service appointments online and free pickup and delivery. Your truck knows, shouldn't you? That's Ford of Uniontown on the hill across from Applebee's. 724-425-5980 or fordofuniontown.com.
Price excludes tax, title, and transfer fees. Must finance with Ford credit. Not all buyers will qualify.
When you're looking for high-quality medical care at an affordable price, look no further than Centerville Clinics. Dr. Robert Hogan, a board-certified internal medicine physician, has joined the staff at Uniontown Family Doctors, part of the Centerville Clinics network, and is now accepting new patients. To schedule your appointment, call 724-632-6801. Centerville Clinics participates with most insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, and provides quality health care regardless of your ability to pay. Centerville Clinics, caring for our community, one patient at a time. Experiencing symptoms of COPD? Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale has been selected to conduct a clinical research study, and participants are needed. All study-related care will be provided at no cost, and no health insurance is required. Compensation up to $2,200 for qualified participants for time and travel. To learn more, call Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale at 724-220-5281. That's Frontier Clinical Research in Scottsdale at 724-220-5281. Main Street Theater Company presents Rent, July 24th and 25th at 7 p.m. and July 26th at 2. A Tony Award-winning musical and Pulitzer Prize drama winner, Rent follows the life of impoverished young artists and musicians struggling to survive and create in New York's Lower East Side. With songs that rock and a story that resonates with audiences of all ages, Rent has become a pop culture phenomenon. Get tickets online at statetheater.info or call 724-439-1360.
Now, Nick and I once in a while have a conversation off air that sounds like a conversation that George Costanza and Jerry Seinfeld would have. For instance, why does Illinois have an S on the end?
That's true. Why does pneumonia have a P at the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Why does vacuum have two U's? I mean,
Oh,
these are the
exactly.
issues.
Should have two C's now.
That really have. And why do people care that newlyweds Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have been spotted in Florida with a new dog?
Oh, people definitely care about that. Were you at the wedding?
I was not.
Man, they shut down the busiest city in the world for those two.
I had a guy scheduled to be on the show this week. He can't make it now. Who was at the wedding?
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Travis Kelce's agent.
Oh, agent.
Yes. Not Travis Kelce.
Oh, or his brother? That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, his agent. So
or the mother, Mrs. Kelce.
Yeah.
She's a celebrity.
Yeah, she is. And it's kind of cool when you see them together watching a game.
I bet she can't believe what her life is now.
I know.
bet, and both her sons were NFL stars. Her one son's is married to the most famous woman alive.
Oh,
I bet you can't believe it.
I mean, could she be besides?
They're from Ohio. I mean, they're small.
Besides, like the Queen at one point.
Well, Taylor Swift's the most famous woman alive.
You really?
Who's even number two?
I mean, who could?
I'd say most famous person if it weren't for like Donald Trump and
the Pope,
Netanyahu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, ask the average high school girl who they know more, the Pope or the Taylor Swift. They know Taylor Swift.
Yeah, my daughter's.
And that's who drives culture, by the way. Young girls and young people in general.
And what she was Times Person of the Year.
Oh, Taylor Swift, yeah.
And
if only we had a pollster on to ask these questions.
Why is she so popular? Who better to talk about that than the senior fellow with AP Nork, of course, at the University of Chicago, and Marjorie Conley joining us right now to talk about these things. Now, that would be a survey to do if anybody in America does not know Taylor Swift. It's sort of mind-boggling that U.S. Steel. I was using this as an example. U.S. Steel in the early 1900s was sold and became the first billion-dollar corporation. It sold just in the last few years, of course, to Nippon Steel for less than $10 billion. Taylor Swift did a tour that had a net worth of $5 billion. You just can't get a sense of the size of this.
But do they have to just have heard of her, or do you want them to know something about her other than that she got married in Madison Square Garden? That know a song of hers, or know something concrete about her, or just have ever heard of her?
Yeah, the fact that I had a credit card, Capital One credit card, when my daughters called and asked me that, and they started screaming and yelling and were excited because they could then order tickets early for her concert because they could use Dad's Capital One card. I did not look at the statement for months because I didn't want to know how much I spent on the tickets. But it's sort of amazing at times what comes across. And if I hear one more, the other day there was a headline in People magazine about one of the royals' kids now wearing, for the first time in public, fingernail
long
polish.
pants.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Really? This is it?
Yeah.
It's a little puzzling at times. Well, very hard to transition from that very lighthearted stuff to this very heavy-duty stuff, of course. The most recent survey that AP North did really was only for and only asked of Jewish Americans, correct?
Well, no, well, some of the questions were only asked of Jewish Americans. Some of the questions were asked of everybody. So there were some questions that we looked at for the results of all Americans and the results of Jewish Americans, like views of Israel in particular. But questions about what do you consider anti-Semitic and those kind of questions, those were asked only of Jewish people.
Yeah, and it seemed to vary among levels of how people viewed their own Jewish faith. Correct?
Yes. So we did this slightly differently than we usually ask religion. If you just ask, what religion are you? Consider yourself. We would get 2%. We get 2% of the public say that they're Jewish, and so on an ordinary poll of like 1,000 people, we don't. That's not enough to cut them down to men and women and party identification and different looks, which is what they wanted to do on this particular survey. This survey, we had over 3,000 respondents, and we oversampled Jews. So what we did was we oversampled Jews, and of the people who said they were agnostic, atheists, nothing in particular, or they didn't answer the question, we asked, I was going to have that right in front of me, a question on whether you feel connected to Judaism somehow, like ethnically, through family connections.
Well, I find it very interesting that they considered themselves to be Jewish,
yeah.
but they were agnostic or atheist.
Well, the question. Let me read the question because now I have it in front of me.
Okay.
So, what is your present religion, if any? All right. So then you can, and then they have a long list of religions, and you can say, okay, I'm Jewish, or you can say I'm nothing in particular, or not answer the question or whatever. So then, of those people who said they were atheist, agnostic, nothing in particular, didn't answer the question, aside from religion, do you consider yourself Jewish in any way? For example, ethnically, culturally, or because of your family background? And we wanted to ask that question, well, to get more Jewish people and also to be able to look at people who consider themselves religiously Jewish and sort of culturally Jewish or secularly Jewish. And you were saying that you saw that there's differences in their views toward Israel and toward other things.
What did the survey find of how they feel their support among elected officials, whether it's the president or Congress, House, Senate, for the Jewish people in America? Did the survey touch on those?
Yes, to some degree. They asked. Let me find that. One thing. We release these numbers in like 4 or 5 different questionnaire articles, so they're sort of spread around a little bit. But we found that Jewish adults in general, they're skeptical about both major political parties. Just the 15% say either the Democratic Party, supports them, or the Republican Party. And that's particularly telling because a large percentage of Jewish adults consider themselves Democrats. And then if you ask about the president, we didn't ask about Congress, but we did ask about the president. And they are very unfavorable about the president. And we asked unfavorable, or do you think you're being supported very well by the president or by these parties? And in general, they're not saying they don't feel supported at all by either party or by the president.
Yeah. It was very interesting in Pennsylvania, and it made national news that Pennsylvania Supreme Court Justice David Wecht left the Democratic Party in May of this year to become a registered independent, and he changed his affiliation, quote, citing a growing tolerance for anti-Semitism within the Democratic Party, and which is an incredibly powerful statement for a judge to make. Now, it doesn't change, his jurisprudence or his adjudication efforts, but for him to come out and say that, and the Wecht name in Pennsylvania is very well known. His father was an elected official, was a world-renowned forensic scientist as well, a coroner for many years in Allegheny County, where Pittsburgh is the seat of the county. So that was sort of fascinating that he came out and said that.
Do you think it had something to do with the primary elections that happened recently, where a lot of candidates who were had come out against Israel?
Yeah, he didn't indicate that. He just made it very clear that a growing tolerance for anti-Semitism within the Democratic Party, and his desire to formalize his political independence. So that was quite a statement, frankly. I don't ever recall that, and I've been doing this stuff now 40 years now. I started in 1986 rather, following politics, working for elected officials, etc. I don't ever recall that happening to a judge, especially a Supreme Court justice, now a Pennsylvania Supreme Court justice. It was rather interesting. Was there any indication of that in the survey of those
people changing their party?
Yeah, or just feeling that the Democratic Party has a tolerance for anti-Semitism?
Actually, no, we didn't find that. That is actually a good thing to look for. I will do some digging into the data, and I can look for that. We did ask a question whether what do you consider to be a form of anti-Semitism, and we had a long list, and 91% said denying the Holocaust happening was a form of anti-Semitism. And then it goes down from there. They're criticizing Israel for its military actions. Only 25% think that's anti-Semitic. And criticizing Israel for any reason, only 20% think that's anti-Semitic. But if we look at whether they're religious Jews or secular Jews, we will find a difference in those numbers. The religious Jews are much more likely to say it is anti-Semitic.
Yeah, it was interesting, and this was quite a departure for AP North to have this type of survey work done. Correct?
Well, we do oversamples sometimes. We don't do them with religion. We have done religion actually, but not like a small group like since Jewish people are such a small group of the population, we've done oversamples of lots of different groups when we want to focus on them. The AP also has a whole department that focuses on religion, and that was the department that had a lot to do with what questions we asked.
Yeah,
their editors.
Yeah, and again. This idea of going, and of course AP North is well known, and your results do get reported on. This one seemed to get a lot of attention. It was in local news here, regional news. I saw it on national news level. That happens with some, but this one I think caught a lot of people's attention and may have surprised some people. As to
that may be. Also, I felt like whenever I think AP really promoted it on their website. Whenever I went to their website, usually like a poll story might be on there the first day it comes out, and then the next day it's gone. It's pushed away. You could find it if you need to, but it's not on the home page.
Right.
But this time they're staying on the home. They were staying on the home page a lot longer.
Yeah, it did get a lot of attention. So interesting survey, and AP Nork, of course, is very well respected in its surveys. That's not always the case with surveys these days, but AP Nork seems to do it. And it's a different approach. Of course, you're not predicting the results of something.
No,
and
we're
you're
not.
predicting the results of campaigns, that sort of thing. So yeah,
And also, one thing I wanted to make clear, which I didn't say earlier, we did oversample Jewish people, but we, when we're looking at the overall numbers, like in some of the other releases had like overall numbers of how the general population feels about Israel, or another release was a general population feels about Trump. The oversample group gets weighted down to be their proper percentage of the population. So if you look at the weighted numbers, you look at the weighted number of on religion, it's still going to be 2%, even though the unweighted number is like like 1,000 people.
Interesting stuff, to say the least. Marjorie Conley, Senior Fellow with AP Nork, which, of course, is based at the University of Chicago. We thank you very much for joining us today. Interesting stuff. We try to have you on about once a month, taking a look at the surveys, and folks can get more information at apnork.org, correct?
Yes,
Very good.
absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much. We appreciate you taking
Thanks
the time.
for having me.
You're
All right.
welcome. Take
Bye-bye.
care. We're about 15 seconds away from the keep wanting to say CBS, the Fox News update. We come back after the break. We're going to talk baseball with John Wayner. Nick and I will chat with him talking about the Pirates' first half of the season. Stick around. I'm Doug. That's Nick. News is next.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer speaking on an ICE shooting yesterday in Biddeford, Maine. He notes that if specific legislation had been passed, body cameras could have been utilized during this incident.
If Republicans had passed our bill, there would be body cameras, proper agent ID, warrant requirements, and other common sense reforms, and these killings might not have happened.
No video evidence was obtained from the shooting. The case remains under investigation. Now, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement saying they're putting a pause on non-urgent traffic stops after the two fatal shootings involving ICE agents within the past week. White House Border Czar Tom Homan on Fox.
We'll let this play out where it is, but I think ICE is going to continue doing record arrests, record removals, and this is, I wouldn't even call it bump in the road. I mean, this is going to be a short-term review.
America is listening to Fox News.
It's back again. If you haven't saved the dates yet, clear your calendar for August 8th and 9th, because that's when the incredible Italian Heritage Festival returns to downtown Uniontown. Join us at Story Square on Main Street for an unforgettable weekend. Bring your friends and family to enjoy a wide assortment of delicious food, drinks, and a full lineup of free entertainment, including live music and kids' activities. And remember, you don't need to be Italian to have a great time. That's the Italian Heritage Festival, August 8th and 9th in downtown Uniontown. For scheduling updates, vendor lists, and sponsor spotlights, follow the Sons of Italy of Uniontown and WMBS on Facebook. We can't wait to see you there. Get ready for dirt, diesel, and heart-pounding action at the Fayette County Fair. From Thursday, July 30th to Saturday, August 8th, make your way to the Fayette County Fairgrounds for the experience of a lifetime. They're loaded with action-packed events every day for the entire family to enjoy. See the brute force of the USA tractor, truck, stock, and semi-pulls, the Wild Western Rodeo, or the mayhem of Rise Wrestling. Experience adrenaline-packed motocross races, then buckle up for 2 hardcore demolition derbies. Watch the guarded and deadweight tractor pull, rev up your engines for monster truck races featuring freestyle motocross, and see the madness of Mudmania. Mark your calendars now, fire up your summer, and don't miss a single night of the action at the Fayette County Fair. For the full fair schedule and for a list of advanced ticket locations where you could save $5 and get your Fayette County Fair tickets for just $15, visit FayetteFair.com.
Fayette County Fair, incredible fun for everyone.
In 1986, the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville was started with a promise to provide clients with truthful, friendly, and courteous service. It worked. With an expanded client base, the Firestone Insurance Agency's customers are now able to choose from over 20 well-known insurance companies. So whether it be auto, home, business, or life, Firestone has you covered, and the promise to provide truthful, friendly, and courteous service is still in place. As an independent insurance agency, the Firestone Insurance Agency works for you. They do the shopping for you to save you time and a bunch of needless phone calls. Because let's face it, no one loves to shop for insurance. Call the office at 724-455-3900 or visit firestoneinsurance.net. Can't make it to Normalville? Let the Firestone Insurance Agency bring service right to your kitchen table. The Firestone Insurance Agency, 724-455-3900 or firestoneinsurance.net. Doing what is right for the customer, finding the most affordable rates while making sure there are no coverage gaps so you are fully protected from the unforeseen.
Tune in each Saturday morning from 6 to 7 a.m. right here on WMBS 590 AM and FM 101.1 for Garden Talk Radio. It's the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, topic-focused, guests from across the country, and answering your garden questions. Send your questions in now to gardentalkradio@gmail.com or call anytime to 1-800-927-SHOW. That's every Saturday morning from 6 to 7 a.m. right here on WMBS 590 AM and FM 101.1. Catch the replay Monday evenings from 6 to 7 p.m.
The music stopped when I started having knee pain.
For gospel singer Andrea Michaud, knee pain was keeping her from doing what she loves. That's when she turned to orthopedic surgeon Jason Kinney, MD, and the team at WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital.
I am singing his praises.
Our patients benefit from large health system expertise and community hospital comfort. Learn more at wvumedicine.org/Uniontown.
WMBS.
You know, if I hear one more story about the Parkway East and the bridge about to be imploded, you're right, Nick. It's right up there with a snowstorm for Pittsburgh media.
Summer snowstorm for the local
exactly.
news anchors.
But my favorite thing is they're going to implode it. I think it's later this week sometime.
Right.
I forget when it is. But they have to use heat-seeking drones to fly over it to make sure there's nobody below it trying to take pictures of it.
Hey, if you're down there and it falls on you, natural selection.
Yeah, that's a bit much. You literally have to have a drone up there.
How much does that cost?
Oh, I know, to make sure, because someone wants to post it for crying out loud. It doesn't happen unless you post it on your own social media.
If it's not on Instagram.
But that's what they have to do to make sure no one's there when the thing goes down.
I love Pittsburgh.
I
guess they would do that in other cities.
It's a puzzle, but it is the biggest story. It's going to be so lonely when it's over.
Right.
And it's already on 20 days left at this point, for crying out loud. Yeah.
Right. Have you been affected by the detour?
Yeah, I have not. No, I have not been affected by the detour.
Wow. I know you're a driver.
Yeah. We don't go to that area, so that
see.
helps. Joining us right now, thankfully, not to talk about a bridge being demolished and another one being slid into place, but talk about a very surprising Pirate season. Certainly the last 3 games threw a lot of people for a loop. And joining us, who better, and then Pirate color commentator, of course, former Pirate, Major League Baseball player, John Wehner. John, if you bring up the bridge, we will hang up on you, but we will just keep moving on and talk about Pirate baseball. How are you today?
I got to bring up the bridge. That's where my wife's from, over that neck of the woods.
Really? Oh, jeez.
She's from Forest Hills, which is a couple miles away.
Oh, my heavens. And her whole life is affected by this thing, but...
No, we don't go over there. I'm over it. I'm fine.
Oh, that's good. And how about the thought that they have to have a drone checking that no one's below it when they blow the thing up, for crying out loud? And honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb people out there.
There are.
Boy, truer words have never been spoken.
That's like a George Carlin line. There's a lot of dumb people.
Nothing you've said during a game broadcast has been that profound, John.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of dumb people out there. That's a good one. Pirates are 50-47. I think that surprises a lot of people. They're in a very tough division. And my gosh, what a better way to finish off the first half than that 3-game series versus the Brewers, including a 10-run inning where the first 9 batters in that inning, the 4th inning, got on base. First time that happened since 1986 against the Montreal Expos. How much of an impact does a series like that have on a team as it goes into, unofficially, the second half of the season? It has to be a morale booster of epic proportions almost, isn't it?
It definitely helps, for sure. I mean, this team has kind of put us all on a roller coaster ride all year. You know, it's like, you know, they'll go on a nice little run, and you're thinking, oh, they're really good, and then they struggle, and you know, they win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 2, win 2, lose 1, and they really haven't taken off yet. And so, coming into this whole series, not only this series, I guess, but this whole month, Philly, Washington, Atlanta, Milwaukee, then we go to, you know, Cleveland, New York, play the Cubs, Arizona, all these teams that are ahead of us in the standings. You realize, well, they better get going. We don't know how good this team is yet. And so, for me, I'm on that roller coaster ride. You know, there's times where I'm thinking, ooh, yeah, they got a chance. And then, literally, after the third inning of the first game of the Milwaukee series, I'm like, oh my gosh, they got to do better, you know? And I'm like, if they don't win this series, they're in trouble. And then they go ahead and sweep them. And so, you know, I thought this stretch of games was going to tell how good they are, you know, because they've shown pretty much up until July they're an average team. They're a 500 team. And then, you know, going 8-5 against the first 4 series, or the first 4 teams in the last 2 weeks, they're like, okay, they're in a good spot. They have a good shot. You know, we'll see how it goes when we go on the road to Cleveland, New York. But it's huge, to answer your question, to be 3 over before the break, because now you're only 2 back from the wild card. You're still quite a ways back from Milwaukee, but I could see a Milwaukee slide. Their starting pitching's a little thin right now. But we've seen it before. I mean, you know, there's been a couple of different instances where the team got hot before the All-Star break and came out a little bit flat. In fact, I remember, you know, Marte was still here, so that had to be 10 or 12 years ago. We won 4 or 5 going into the break, and then we went into Milwaukee and played really bad, and you know, lost 3 in Milwaukee, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh boy. And then another year before the break, and then I think shortly after the break, the team got themselves in the playoff contention by winning 9 of 10. And then we traded, you know, 3 prospects for Chris Archer, and that didn't go well. So I take it all with a grain of salt, Doug, and this is why, because you got to play consistent, good baseball. I don't believe in momentum in baseball. I think, you know, you play day by day. You go win today's game. That's all you have to worry about. I don't think it matters what you did the 3 days before the break or the 3 games after the break. It matters, you know, how you're playing the day you're scheduled to play. So it is encouraging. It's much better to be up 3 games over 500 going to the All-Star break than 3 games under. I know that for a fact. And they're in the playoff race. If the pitching gets stabilized, both starters and bullpen, with this offense, they certainly have a chance to make the playoffs.
Nick Barczyk and Doug Saltzman speaking with John Winter of the Pirates Baseball Network. And, John, you talked about the pitching. It has been underwhelming. Paul Skeens not pitching to his potential, but we'll focus on the positive. And you're a former hitter, of course. This offense, did you expect this? They lead the league in runs. As a former hitter, a student of the game and of hitting, what do you make of this lineup, and what do you see when you watch and announce these games? Why is this offense coming alive like this?
The additions of Lau and O'Hearn have been huge. I just think that, you know, last year you had 2 hitters, Reynolds and Cruz, and they rode the roller coaster. And I felt like that they felt that they had to carry the offense at times, and they weren't getting pitched to. If you were a starting pitching staff coming in to face the Pirates, well, don't let Reynolds beat, you know, let Cruz beat you. And there really wasn't anybody else other than those 2. But because now, you know, Cruz got off to a good start, now it's Mangum, then you got Lau, and you got Reynolds, and you got O'Hearn, you got this kid Valdez has been incredible.
He's incredible, John.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah.
Do you believe what he was
incredible.
doing at the end of the first half? He was incredible. Did you talk to him? And what do you watch his swing? I mean, what sets him apart, at least in the stretch?
Well, he got immense power. Okay, and so when I see guys with big power, I usually see big swings. And so the first couple of weeks, I'm like, ooh, that swing's a little bit long. And then the next at bat, he turns around 97 and hits it 460 feet. I'm like, ooh, that swing has chase. He'll chase a breaking ball. Next thing I know, he hits a breaking ball out 380 feet to left. I mean, it's incredible to me for a young player at 22 years old who does at times have a long swing, but he's been able to make adjustments, not only like in a series or during a game, but during an at-bat. I've seen him get exposed and kind of be late on fastballs early in the at-bat, and then later in the at-bat he turns around a fastball. The at-bat he had against Ashby from Milwaukee was, to me, convincing enough to realize that this guy has a pretty good idea of hitting. He's just not a big power-hitting slugger that's going to swing and miss all the time. Guy's throwing 99 with sink, as good a sink as I've seen from a lefty at 98, 99. He works his count to 3-1 because he took a 93-mile-an-hour changeup that ran below the zone, and then he hits 99 out the other way for a grand slam. That's the turning point of the series for me, because Milwaukee doesn't lose games when they're up 3 in the 6th or 7th inning. They close them out because their bullpen's so good. And that at bat for me was like, wow, this is different. Most 99. This guy who I thought earlier a month ago that his swing was too long to catch up to that, he hits it 400 feet to right field. So huge addition, maybe generational talent. I mean, I'm sitting there we've been going through this. Like, when's the last time the Pirates have brought up a right-handed hitter that has had this kind of power? You know, I mean, McCutchen to an extent, but he's not really a power guy, more of a traditional hitter. You know, then you think of Ramos Ramirez, but he was more of a traditional 300 hitter.
You put Griffin in that category? I know he's injured now, but
he has the potential to hit 30, but he's going to be more of a traditional hitter that might hit 320, 310. At least 300, and then maybe hit 25, 35 homers. He has the power to do it, of course, but he's not, just a big time. He don't have that kind of power. You know, I mean, this guy has power to all fields. And Griffin does to an extent, but he doesn't really have a swing to where you're thinking 40, 50 homers. This guy is potentially a 40 homer guy. I could see, if he gets consistent at bats and stays. From what I've seen right now, he got 10 homers and less than 100 at bats. You times that by 5 or 6, you're talking 50 or 60 homers. But he definitely is a different kind of talent that we've seen in the Pittsburgh lineup in a while. And so that's to your question about this offense. Even the bottom 3 on Sunday, Triolo, Ozuna, and Davis had 7 RBIs. 7 hits, 6 runs scored. So, there's danger 1 through 9 with this lineup.
Yeah, that was the stat that caught, and I love baseball stats. That's the stat that caught my attention. How the bottom 3 did. Yeah. Just be scoring that many runs, a crazy 10 run inning. The first 9 get on base, crazy stuff. One of the stats too, in addition to as if I'm on the team. The Pirates have hit more home runs. Dream. The Pirates have hit more home runs this year than all of last year. Already. But the records are odd. So far this year, they're 27-24 at home, 23-23 on the road, and that's after 97 games. Last year, they were 44-37 at home and 27-54 on the road.
Dreadful.
That was incredible, that road record last year. When I think of like a home crowd getting a team psyched up, I think of football more than baseball. How do you explain a road record like that? Is there really a disadvantage? Obviously, it was last year to play on the road for a 27-54 record. It just seems amazing to me.
Yeah, back in the day, I only did road games when Blast was still around.
That's right.
And the John Russell years.
Lucky you.
Listen, the John Russell years. In 2 years span, we went 40 and 121 on the road.
Oh, God.
So in 2 years, I called 40 winners. So believe me, I've paid attention. Yeah, I've paid attention to road records. I've never felt that there was a huge advantage for a home team. In certain ballparks, I think there's an advantage because you build your team to your dimensions. Like this year, the Pirates have built their team with left-handed power. And so you think it would really help at PNC Park, but it really hasn't. or we'd have left-handed pitchers, which would be advantageous at PNC Park because of the deep left field. Well, we have all righties this year in the starting staff, and then we have a bunch of lefties, but our record really doesn't indicate dominance at home. I think on the road, I just think it's the lineup. I really believe that we just have enough guys in this lineup that hit. It shouldn't matter if you're a hitter, whether you're at home or road. I don't think the fans make a big difference at all. Pitching-wise, generally, starting pitchers in general pitch a lot better at home than on the road just because they're comfortable with where they are and they know how to pitch in their home ballpark. But this year, I think 500 record on the road is okay. I think that's what you really shoot for. To be winning 1 of 3 on the road is ridiculous. I'll never understand that. Like you said, the last year's splits, home and road, are just doesn't make sense to me. I can't explain that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a little bit of things here and there where you're thinking, okay, well, we built this team to play at home, but that shouldn't be a big drastic thing on the road. And I don't understand it. I think where we're at this year makes a lot of sense, except for the fact that I think we should have won a lot more games at home.
We've had Steve Blass on the air quite a bit over the years, and he still joins us. And one time I asked him, when he was still doing color commentary, do you miss doing road games? He said, are you kidding? Have you seen the record?
Yeah. Exactly.
It was a classic line. Yeah, that's tough.
When you're doing games at PNC, everything else feels like a
Yeah.
Little League park. But yeah, John, obviously hitting and defense, your expertise, but pitching, we can ask you about that. It's been underwhelming, frankly. It was supposed to be the strength. The bullpen you can touch on, that's been bad, frankly. But the starters, Paul Skeens even, not living up to his potential. What do you make of his rotation, and can it get better?
I'm concerned. I do think that Skeens will get back to being Skeens. I think he has been his last 3 starts, and I think he'll be better moving forward in the second half. I'm seriously concerned about Keller. Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen with him. The other 3, the young guys, Ashcraft, I love Ashcraft, and I think his stuff is so nasty. I worried about the workload. I worried about, he's already over a career high in innings, and I wonder. He says he feels great. I believe him. He pitches like he feels great, and I'm hoping that what he did in the first half will continue in the second half. I'm concerned a little bit with Jones. If Jones, who threw 6 perfect his last time out, if he's going to continue to be limited to 75, 80 pitches, that's part of the problem with the bullpen. If you're only going to get 4 or 5 innings, you need more arms out of the bullpen. Chandler's the same situation as Jones. He needs 80 pitches to get through 4 a lot of times, 90 to get through 5. So you're going to need 4 or 5 relievers to get through the ball game. And so I don't want to just point fingers at the bullpen. I think a lot of the fingers have to be pointed at the rotation as well. I think when Skeens doesn't go 6, that's a disappointment. If Keller doesn't go 6, that's a disappointment. The other 2, Jones and Chandler, more times than not, haven't gone 6. That's taxing on your bullpen. So I don't want to throw all the blame at the bullpen because I think there's some blame to be meted out towards the rotation. And as I look to the second half, I hope it gets better, but I'm not overly optimistic that it'll get better because again, Jones is coming off the IL and the surgery, and Ashcraft's been kind of maxed out as far as innings. I do believe Skeens will be better in the second half. I hope that Keller will be better in the second half. I think Chandler should be better in the second half, but that's the question marks for me. And I don't know if they'll hold pat with the 5 that they have. They've been the 5 all year, except Majinski, of course. And that's another question mark for me. Is Majinski going to go to a traditional reliever role, or is he only going to pitch 1 or 2 days a week? I think he's a good enough arm to where he can help you win games. He can match up, pitch late innings, help you close out games. But I really believe that the rotation has to pitch deeper into the game to take some pressure off the bullpen to where you can throw the relievers out there that you want to throw out there, especially with a lead late, instead of throwing relievers out there that you have to throw out there with a lead late.
Yeah. Well, one more question for you, John, if you have time. And you mentioned Jared Jones a moment ago. Of course, his 6 perfect innings then being pulled after 77 pitches. There was a loud scream among Pirate fans everywhere that day. 77 pitches seems so low, but I guess it had to do with his UCL internal brace surgery, they call it. Should he have been kept in just to see how much further he could take that? 77 pitches. It was so disappointing. Perfect game, right?
That's not just the Pirates. That's other.
Yeah.
And John, in general, are we sacrificing preservation for great moments in baseball because other teams are doing this, and I don't think it's going to change.
It's a great question because to me there was some history in that homestand. You know, O'Hearn 10 RBIs, 3 homers. Valdez 3 homers, 8 RBIs, all homers, giving you a lead to help sweep that series on a doubleheader on Saturday. And then obviously the Jones 6 perfect. There's been less than 25 perfect games, I believe, in the history of baseball.
Right.
Having said that, no way Jones was going to be able to pitch a perfect game. Would I have liked to see him go out there through the 7th and have 7 perfect innings? Absolutely. And if he goes out in the 7th and he goes 3 up, 3 down, and 8 pitches, and he's at 85, would I like him to go out to the 8th and see if he could do that again? Maybe. But here's my thing. So much of this stuff is pre-planned in terms of, okay, we got him for 5 and 75 tonight. Oh, well, he goes 6 and 77. All right, so now I think that's where the feel comes in. I know they're worried about the health. I also sit there and think, okay, it's 8 starts. When does he go above? His first start, I think he threw 81. When does he get pushed to 90? How long does that take? Is it this year or next year? So when will we, kind of just let him go and pitch till you see that he may be tiring or, the stuff, isn't looking as good? But I would have definitely hoped, I was hoping that he'd pitch the 7th. And again, if he went out the 7th and he got 3 up, 3 down, would have took him 18 pitches and now he's at 95, I'm good with him taking him out after the 7th. But did I want him to go out to the 7th and see if he could have a quick 7th and see where it goes? Absolutely, I did. But again, so much is done nowadays, it's different than 10, 20, certainly 30 or 40 years ago. And that's about, the pre-planning and, kind of you have a script as how you want the game to be played out as far as your starter and relievers. And, for me, I think there's times where you got to, throw that script out and go with your gut. And, again, would I have let Jones go past 100? No way. Would I let him go 90 to 100? Maybe if he's perfect through 7.
Yeah, again, my love of stats. The only pitcher in the modern era to pitch that many perfect innings and get the loss. That was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
That was brutal. Hey, John, you've given us extra time. Thanks so much. Nick and I appreciate your taking time to join us on the Afternoon Drive show. So good first half, a longer first half than most. This was a late All-Star game this year. And we'll see what happens when they crank it up again this Thursday. We've been an affiliate here of the Pirates, we think, for 60 years.
Many years. I think Honus Wagner was in the lineup.
Our station's will be 90 next year. We're one of the original non-KDKA affiliates.
Right.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thanks,
John.
That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for thanks for having me on. Thanks for your support. Hopefully we'll see Uniontown at PNC Park often this second half.
Oh, we will.
At
Thanks,
least
buddy.
Chuck from Uniontown.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah, Chuck from Uniontown. Hey, thanks so much. Have a good
All right,
evening.
thanks, Rock. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
See ya.
Let's take a break and wrap it up.
It's the biggest sale ever at Pat's Bridal Boutique, celebrating 40 years in business. Hundreds of gowns on sale. Select bridals start at $99, and full price bridals are 20% off. Select bridesmaids gowns only $25, and short summer dresses for special occasions start at $29. Never too early to think about prom. All Pat's prom gowns also on sale, so hurry for best selection. Star Spangled Savings end July 31st. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Pat's Bridal Boutique, West Crawford Avenue in Connellsville.
For over 50 years, Mauser's Tire Center has kept our community rolling safely. Located on Route 40 West at Seawright's Crossroads, they're your trusted source for new, used, and recap tires, plus expert repairs. Need a new set or a quick fix? Then call Mauser's at 724-249-2410, and they'll get you ready for the road. Mauser's Tire Center. 5 decades of keeping you safe.
Tune in to WMBS the second and fourth Thursdays monthly at 10:30 a.m. for an all-new radio program with Pete Crackle, Director of Clinical Operations and Pharmacist at Nickman's Drug. Pete will explore a myriad of health-related topics and talk about how a strong relationship with your pharmacist is vital for your best health. So mark your listening calendars and be sure to catch the all-new show the second and fourth Thursday each month. Need a pharmacy? Visit Nickman's Drug today at any of their 7 area locations.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Thank John Wayne for joining us. Great conversation with him. We'll talk to you tomorrow after the 5 o'clock news.
A blockade alongside negotiations. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump says U.S. mediators spoke with Iranian leaders today, urging them to make a deal, but also telling Fox's Trey